Hello and welcome back. Today we're going to finish up the Form N400 with parts 13 through 18. This is the N400 form, the U.S. Citizenship Application for Naturalization. All right, so let's just get started right away. We are on part 13. Remember, this is a one in a series of videos that I have out. So part 13 is the applicant's statement, certification, and signature. And right away it says, read the penalties section of the Form N400 instructions. So I'm going to read that to you. And it basically says what we've been talking about. If you knowingly and willfully falsify or conceal a material fact or submit a false document with this Form N400, USCIS can deny your form and may deny any other immigration benefit. In addition, you may face criminal prosecution and penalties provided by law. Okay, so that is obviously very important. All right, let's move on to the applicant's statement. So in part 13, it's the applicant's statement, certification, and signature. So items 1 through 6 in this section, you're going to select the appropriate box to indicate whether you read this application yourself or whether you had an interpreter assist you. If someone assisted you in completing the application, select the box indicating that you used a preparer. Further, you must sign and date your application. Every application must contain a signature of the applicant. A stamped or typewritten name in place of a signature is not acceptable. You may place an X mark instead of the signature if you are unable to write in any language. And you could go ahead, people have asked me whether, can I print, just sign your name how you would sign any document, the school note to the school, your kid's note to the school, anything like that, how you would go ahead and sign, right? Okay, and if it is not signed, USCIS will reject the application immediately. Okay, so it's very important that you sign that, and you know you're going to make copies of all these things before you send out your packet, but make sure you don't send a copy of your signature, right? When you send your package, make sure that the form that you sign has your original signature on it, not a copy. All right, part 14, the interpreter's contact information, certification, and signature. This is if you used an interpreter. If you didn't, go ahead and write NA in those areas, or in that area right there. Okay, for part 17, numbers 1 through 7, if you used anyone as an interpreter to read the instructions and questions on this application to you in a language in which you are fluent, the interpreter must fill out this section. Provide his or her name, the name and address of his or her business or organization, if any, his or her daytime telephone number, his or her mobile telephone number, if any, and his or her email address, if any. The interpreter must sign and date the application. Okay, again, an original signature here, please. All right. Okay, you can see right here where you put your signatures. Part 15, the contact information, declaration, and signature of the person preparing this application, if other than the applicant. Okay, if you are not using a preparer, go ahead and put NA in there, please. If you are using a preparer, items number 1 through 8. This section must contain the signature of the person who completed your application, if other than you, the applicant. If the same individual acted as your interpreter and your preparer, that person should complete both parts 14 and 15. If the person who completed this application is associated with a business or organization, that person should complete the business or organization name and address information. Anyone who helped you complete this application must sign and date the application. Okay, very important. A stamped or typewritten name in place of a signature is not acceptable. Again, please remember that. If the person who helped you prepare your application is an attorney or accredited representative whose representation extends beyond preparation of the application, he or she might be obliged to also submit a completed Form G28, Notice of Entry of Appearance as Attorney or Accredited Representative, along with your application. Okay, and that is here, the Form G28, if you're going to have the appearance of an attorney or accredited representative with you, okay, because you need help during that interview. Okay, back again. All right, so USCIS will reject your form if it is not signed by the preparer you used to prepare the questions on the application. So again, right here, you're going to have the preparer's statement and then the preparer's signature. Okay, please again make sure all those signatures are original signatures and not photocopies or typed or stamped. Very important. Okay, moving on. You're almost done because you don't have to fill the rest of this out, but you do have to send these pages in. Please, please, please. People have gotten their entire application back because they knew they didn't have to fill these next parts out, but then they didn't send it. Make sure you send these last pages in, okay? All pages, even if they're blank, send them in. Because for Part 16, the signature at the interview, notice here, at the interview, do not complete this part when you send in your application. You will complete Part 16 at the interview. Do not sign anything. You will take an oath at the interview and then sign it. Do not fill that part out. Again, Part 17, right here, do not fill out this part either. Okay, most people, and then this is the renunciation of foreign titles. Most people do not have a foreign hereditary title or order of nobility. Imagine that. This part will apply only if you answered yes to Part 12, items A and B in item number 4. That's a bit confusing, but if you look back here on page, I think it was page like 11, all the way back up here in Part 12, number 4, do you have now or did you ever have a hereditary title or an order of nobility in any foreign country? If you checked yes, okay, then this is going to pertain to you. And then B, if you answered yes, are you willing to give up any inherited titles or orders of nobility that you have in a foreign country at your naturalization ceremony? That you will also have to check yes there, if that is true. Okay, let's go back to that part. Where are we? Part 15. We're almost done. Here we are, Part 17. Okay, this is important because in Part 17, you must affirm you are ready to do so. If you have a hereditary title or order of nobility, the law requires you to renounce this title as part of your oath ceremony in order to become a U.S. citizen. Okay? There we go. All right, now, last but not least, and remember, you're not going to touch Part 16, 17, or 18 until you get to the interview and the officer will tell you what to do. Don't sign, but please send this page in. I've had people get their entire application back because they forgot this part. All right, again, the oath of allegiance, do not complete this part. The USCIS officer will ask you to complete this part at your interview. If the officer approves your application, you must take this oath of allegiance to become a U.S. citizen. In limited cases, you can take a modified oath. The oath requirement cannot be waived unless you are unable to understand its meaning because of a physical or developmental disability or mental impairment. For more information, we could see Guide to Naturalization. I'll put that link down below. Your signature on this application only indicates that you have no objections to taking the oath of allegiance. It does not mean that you have taken the oath or that you are naturalized. If USCIS approves your form for naturalization, then you must attend an oath ceremony and take the oath of allegiance to the United States. So even during your interview, when the officer says if everything goes well and he says sign here, or she says sign here, and you sign it, that does not mean you are a citizen at that moment. That means that you will get an appointment either that day or later in a month or two to go to an oath ceremony. After you have taken the oath at your ceremony, that's when you will become a citizen. Okay? The oath of allegiance, please remember, the oath of allegiance means a promise to be loyal. You're going to promise to be loyal to the United States. Many officers ask, are you willing to take the oath of allegiance? Yes, I'm willing to take it. Do you know what it means? Can you explain it in your own words? Many people say, no, they don't know what it means. So please know what this means. It means that you will be loyal to the United States. Okay, and that's it. The end, page 20 of 20. Make sure you send in all 20. Any questions, please send them down below. And thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye and good luck.